Good afternoon, and welcome to today's VetNet Career Connections presentation, where we will be talking about LinkedIn perspectives and how to use them to advance your career search. We will also be going through an overview of the Veterans Career Transition Program. My name is Mike Shenik, and I'm the Program Manager for VetNet here at the Institute for Veterans and Military Families, located on the campus of Syracuse University. Before we get started today, just a quick overview on how to ask questions. If you're participating live, please feel free to speak up at any point during the Hangout, or you can type them into the chat box, which is enacted by hovering over the left side of your screen and clicking the blue chat icon. I will relay the questions to our presenters, and then we'll get their feedback. For those of you watching out on YouTube or on the Google Plus event page, please feel free to type your question into the chat box, and we will relay that to the presenters as well. So I will now turn things over to Laura Cooper, who is the Program Manager for the VCTP program here at the Institute for Veterans and Military Families. She will give an overview, and then she'll turn things over to Jenna, who will take us through LinkedIn. So Laura, over to you.
Thanks, Mike, and thanks for having us today with the Veterans Career Transition Program. As Mike said, I'm Laura Cooper. I'm the Program Manager for the Veterans Career Transition Program. In case you didn't know about the VCTP program has been operated at the Institute for Veterans and Military Families since April 2013. However, the program originally started at the School of Information Studies at Syracuse University in July of 2011. So the program's been around for a few years, and I actually started with the program in June of 2012 as an academic advisor. And I've had the pleasure of moving over to operate as the program manager for the Veterans Career Transition Program. So I'll spend a little time going over some brief overview of the program, and then we'll also have some time for questions at the end. So Jim, next slide, please. The focus of our Veterans Career Transition Program is to prepare veterans and spouses for their next careers following their military service. Our program is delivered entirely online, and there's no cost to participate in the program. To be eligible, you have to have active duty service since September 11th, 2001, and our program is free, so it doesn't even utilize your benefits to participate in the program. For the spouses to participate, the spouses just have to have a veteran, or even if they're active duty, they could still participate. It's paid entirely by a grant from JPMorgan Chase & Company, so again, doesn't even touch your benefits. It's a great way to get some additional skills and training without utilizing that already existing benefit. So there are two ways you could potentially participate in our program. There's an advisor-led model, and there's an independent study model. We typically recommend the advisor-led model for most students in this program. The cohorts that operate are every quarter, so we have a new group of students that will start this coming April 20th, then we'll have another group starting July 20th, followed by October, and then the following January. So we have those groups that start every year. All the students start on the same day, and they take different courses depending on their interest. We have courses that are focused on launching a career and going over how to navigate the corporate environment. It'll focus on how to translate those military skills into civilian type skills that corporate employers could potentially understand. We also focus on helping you craft your resume and cover letter, doing interviewing skills. We'll help you hone in on that elevator pitch and brush up your 30-second commercial. But there are additional trainings that you can get outside of those soft skills, more on the technical skills side, which that's where a tech track comes in. You can focus on obtaining a technical certification. Those certifications are industry-led. So you'll get a certification in either project management, human resources, IT, and we have different areas within IT, whether you're interested in servers or security or networking. We have something for everybody at different levels of your experience as well. So our coursework is provided online, and it's free. We also offer the practice exams to help you better prepare for that industry certification. And through this program, we actually will fund your exam fee as well. So there's an additional service there that we could provide. The independent study model over on the right-hand side is very similar, but that one is, as it mentions, completely independent. That one you don't have an assigned academic advisor, but you can start any day and you can build your own path. There's a lot of flexibility there to learn about a variety of topics. whether you're interested in the same kinds of things like project management and human resources and IT operations. All of those things are still available, and we still fund your certification fee. But the difference between those two options, being the advisor-led or the independent model, is the level of support you'll receive from the university while you're a student here. Next slide, please, Jim. So just a brief overview of the eligibility in case there's someone on the presentation now that has questions about that. You do have to be a post 9/11 veteran who's already separated or retired from the military. We do note that if you are getting out within 18 months, you're eligible to apply. Guard and reserve members who do have civilian sector employment or will be transitioning out to the military within the next 18 months, they're also eligible to participate. And then the spouses, again, it's just if the veteran has at least one day of active duty post 9/11, they're eligible, or if your spouse is still in the military, you're eligible to participate. Next slide, Jim. And there's a lot more information I could share about the program, but we wanted to keep it brief, just a high-level overview. So I've provided the link for our frequently asked questions page. It's right here. And then you can also email us at veterancertificate@syr.edu. I've included the phone number there, so if you have questions, you can reach us at 315-443-6898. I also included my contact information below in case you do have questions about this specifically or you wanted to email me. Feel free to. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have about the program and what we can do to maybe help you in your transition. But again, those general programmatic inquiries can be directed to our main email box and our phone number, and someone will be happy to answer any questions that you have. So I'll turn it over now to Jenna Turman. She's actually one of the academic advisors for the Veterans Career Transition Program. Jenna's been with the team for a few months now, but she brings a lot of career experience with her, and I'll let her share some details about what she'll be sharing in her LinkedIn Perspectives presentation. Jenna?
Thanks, Laura. Like she said, I'm Jenna Turman. I am an academic advisor for VCTP. I've been here since January, but before that I've had a lot of experience with career advising, specifically in career services settings, and working in advising for non-traditional students as well in an online sector. Next slide, Jim. Here's the agenda for today. I'm just going to go over a little bit more of an introduction of myself and my background. Then I'm going to touch on LinkedIn Basics, which is just an overview of the profile, some highlighted areas in there specific to veterans, and then move into networking on LinkedIn and how you can utilize a lot of the functionality for groups and companies, and updating your statuses to also facilitate the next portion, which is the job searching aspect and how you can leverage really a successful career through utilizing just LinkedIn, especially some excellent resources for vets I have found and have seen to be very helpful in the job search portion especially. Next slide, Jim. I am originally from Michigan, now living in upstate New York. I went to Central Michigan University for both my undergrad and graduate degree, BS in psychology and Master of Arts in Educational Leadership. Since then, I've worked in higher education, in admissions, career advising, and now specifically as an academic advisor for veterans. Last year, I got Myers-Briggs Type Indicator Certified, which is shorthand is MBTI. It's basically an assessment that can help you determine what career might be the best outlook for you, what your type fits into, and it's utilized in a lot of career development processes. During that time, I also became wage negotiation certified. It was very helpful working with college students and those transitioning in their careers to develop their negotiation skills when the tough subject of salary and benefits comes up in the job search. Like I said, I've had over 3 years of higher education and career services experience. Specifically in graduate school is when I first discovered LinkedIn and really focused my studies and practicum on that, facilitating a lot of LinkedIn workshops and labs for college mostly traditional college-age students. And then during my role as employer relations for Utica College, I really expanded that into working in specialized populations with for employer relations and leveraging the social media between that and utilizing LinkedIn from that perspective. So sometimes as more understanding it more from a recruiter perspective as well. So I'm very familiar with the tool. I find it very helpful, and I hope that the knowledge that I share with you, you will also find it helpful in your job search and all of your career development processes. Next slide, Jim. First, I just want to talk basically about social media in the job search. As much as it's been resisted, it's happening. It's very important and very relevant. And in order to stay competitive in the job search, in your job search, I think that it's important to note the platforms that are out there and how to best utilize them. An online presence is important, especially when you are in the job search. And with Google, you want to make sure you understand what is out there. You want to know who knows what about you. So I always suggest Google yourself and see what pops up. LinkedIn, if you have an account, will be the top result. Your name is most likely in the URL, and we'll touch on that a little bit later as well. It's important too because it allows you to reconnect. So from all aspects of your career, especially I found with military veterans, they have a lot of range in their career and what they've seen and who they've met with and what their network is. So this is a way to reconnect with all of those outlets. You can also power your career and get specific answers. I found it's a very good research tool. All of the Fortune 500 companies and CEOs and a lot of government agencies are actually on LinkedIn and utilizing it for all of recruiting purposes and things like that. Over 240 million users and 40% do check it daily. I did see a statistic that upwards of 60% are now utilizing the LinkedIn app on the phone for that. So they're checking it, just in their daily functionality, just like maybe a Twitter account or a Facebook account. 92% of employers admit to viewing social media profiles of potential candidates, and 71% of those candidates have been rejected because of their online presence. So LinkedIn is really great because it allows you the opportunity to portray a professional online presence and really give a significant branding to your professional outline that you hope to share with the employers. It is the resume of the future and the professional response to social media. During my employer relations experience, several of the employers I worked with actually requested as an application only a LinkedIn URL. So it's coming down the pipeline. We're all very, stuck in the traditional application, submit a resume type of formats, but I do see that LinkedIn is becoming more relevant in that aspect. So be ready for that, and we'll talk about getting the profile ready to go next. Next slide, Jim. So part of building your brand, you really want to optimize your profile. Keywords are so important. You can see down on the slide there, I do have links for translating your military experience. You want to be searchable. So when you use keywords, make sure it's the industry jargon that you're hoping to get into. Make sure you have a full understanding of that. And then the best ways to utilize that jargon for translating the years of military experience that you have with that. There's a couple resources there. Definitely a professional picture. You don't really want anything, group shots or even like full body, mostly professional picture. Unique heading and summary is always important. It defaults to having your title as the heading. You can always change that to really capture that skill that you're hoping to be noticed for. Detailed experience and education, and now an awesome way to add visuals. So if you have a lot of projects or something that you want to be able to showcase, this is a great place for it. Obviously, personalizing your URL is important, and once we go into the LinkedIn demonstration, I will kind of click and show you where you can do that at, because this is what's going to bring your URL up to the top of the Google search, and also it's easy to put onto a resume or a business card or in a signature for an email or something like that. You also want to reach out and get endorsements and recommendations. This is an important part. I'll show you again on the live version, but this is great to talk to any superiors or colleagues that you've worked with in the past to really boost. Not only are you saying that you are great in this position or at this skill, but someone else is verifying that as well. Next slide, Jim. The most important part of LinkedIn, I think, is to grow your network. This is the purpose of it. It's online, it's easy. You can really gravitate towards professionals in the field that are like you, kind of research the industries that you're interested in. You're going to want to make your invites personal to those, so really explaining how you've met them and where you want this professional relationship to go, how you can help each other. It's not really about what they can do for you, but also how you can do what you can do for them in the professional circuit. You want to share insights, articles, thoughts, questions. This is going to keep you relevant. So if you'll stay on the top of your connections news feeds. That way when something pops up, oh yeah, Sally Smith really was interested in that job, they'll constantly see your name, and it's just always there. It's kind of psychological to get to them. Joining groups is what we're going to really touch on a little bit later, and going into showing how to leverage those group memberships for job searches, for professional connections, and mentorship even. They have a really great veteran mentor group all across LinkedIn with thousands of people. We also, specific to VCTP, utilize LinkedIn for our students, and a lot of students have taken advantage of this for resources, for speaking to others that have been through the program, and really just sharing that knowledge and resources back and forth. There's also industry groups, professional associations, and alumni groups. Alumni is another good area to touch on. If you've had the chance to go to a college or university, this is a great way to connect with them. And I'll also show you a specific one for veterans as well that's continuously growing. Definitely follow all the companies that you're interested in, especially if you want to work there. Stay up to date on their current news. Let's say you're going into an interview and they ask you a specific question, you can refer to something that you saw on their current news, things like that. It's just basically always staying on top of the current trends. Next slide, Jim. Job searching is basically a snowball effect, I feel like, on LinkedIn. Once you start it, you can kind of get lost in it, but it's really convenient to track down positions that you might be interested in, that you might not even thought that you might be interested in, or that you're qualified for. Sometimes people focus too much on the job title itself, so this kind of leverages a different way to snowball that, and I'll show you some examples of that as we go. One thing I want to touch on is the Veteran Job Seeker subscription. This is a free subscription for veterans that allows you a lot of different resources on LinkedIn to see salary information, the competition that you're applying up against. I'll show you some examples on a job in LinkedIn when we go in there. And it's a year subscription. So this is really good to utilize maybe as you're transitioning out and you're really going to be focused on that job search. It also brings you up to the top in a featured kind of member group. The data mining of your profile shows jobs that might be a good fit. So this is another important aspect of really translating that experience and making sure that your profile is full of terms that match jobs that you would be applying for, because when someone is searching for someone, a lot of recruiters use LinkedIn, and when someone is searching for that specific skill or job title or experience or background, that you really want your profile to come up as an option. So it's really important to match those up by bulking up on the industry jargon. There's a really great way to keep track of your search in LinkedIn, save your jobs, track companies. So even if you're keeping an outside method, like an Excel doc or something, which I do recommend, this is a nice way to see it all kind of in one place in LinkedIn. And you can also utilize your network for this. So the larger your network, the more broad your network. So maybe you want to make sure that you're not only connected to other veterans, but those in the sectors that you're hoping to work in. You'll see similar jobs pop up in that aspect as well. So those within your network and the companies that you would hope to work for. With that, there's a new top 100 2015 list of military-friendly employers. This could just be an example of maybe companies that you want to follow. Maybe just pick the ones that you're interested in, and maybe do a little bit more research and see what they're actually hiring for now and if you're a good fit for that. Next slide, please. Earlier I mentioned the alumni aspect of LinkedIn, and that's great for colleges and universities. There's also a specific one through LinkedIn Labs for veterans. It's small right now. I think it's just over 1,000 people connected to that, but it's constantly growing, and I'll show you the link to that as well, where you can kind of go to filter out veterans that might be in your area, those that you can reach out to in a specific industry or at a specific company. This is a helpful tip that I always say. Some people are indifferent about it, but I always say keep your profile public. It does show that that you are viewing people. So if you go on and view, say I went on and viewed Laura's profile, it would show her that I viewed it as a, that I'm not hiding anything there. Sometimes it'll just say a person at Syracuse University or something like that. But I don't feel that LinkedIn is anything that you should be hiding. Even if you are looking at people's profiles, it's showing interest. I think even for recruiters and things like that, it's also good in the job search portion because you can see if people are looking at your profile for companies that you've applied to. I know during my job search, it was nice to go onto my LinkedIn and say, oh, okay, I applied at this university and so from there viewed my profile. So it is a good feeling to know that. And you don't need to include your phone numbers and addresses in your LinkedIn profile to get the most out of it. So if you're concerned about people finding that information, that's just fine. Also, if you are a third-party connection to someone or something and they try and click on your profile, it will ask them to upgrade to see the full details. But I just suggest keeping it public anyways. I think it's the best bang for your buck in that sense. Turn off your active updates function when you are building your profile. Your connections and your network might not necessarily want to see that you've changed your heading 3 times in the last day. So when you're finalizing your profile, you're building it, you really are detailing everything out, keep those off, but then make sure to turn them back on because you do want things to be recognized when you, let's say you land that job or you get that promotion or you are making new connections. You want those in your network to see that, but just during the time of building, keep that off. Definitely utilize the VA benefits and services available to you for all of this in translation, in any type of resume help or assistance that you can get through TAP or something. This is a great place to apply all of that. And then I always say get on LinkedIn once a day, share an update, find a relevant article in your news feed that is of interest to you and post it because, like I said, that's just staying relevant and staying on top of people's mind, especially for those that are using it every day as well. So that is the overview that I basically wanted to touch on, and now I want to go in and show you some different things throughout LinkedIn, basically that I went over. Now I want to show you the live version. Any questions?
I don't see any questions at this time, so we can go into the demonstration and then we'll see if there's any after that.
Okay, thank you. I am going to share my screen here. Can you see my screen?
Yep, we got it.
Oh, okay. How come? Oh, if I go like that, I guess. Okay. So this is when I am just logged into LinkedIn as myself. When I click on it, mine just automatically comes up. That's why I didn't even have to enter a password or anything. But you can see just an overview here. I want to show you a couple things under these different tabs, but this main page is the newsfeed. So this is what, I spend a couple minutes a day going through, browsing, seeing what's new, what other people are sharing, finding important articles. A lot of my stuff is aimed towards career development and that type of stuff. So you'll notice yours might be more this type of recruit military or the companies that you're interested in working for. You can see a lot of things that basically your connections are sharing. This is where you want to be on your connections newsfeed. So this is where coming in and sharing an update, uploading a photo, or publishing a post will come in handy. You really want to dive in and share resources, make updates that are relevant to those that would be connected to you. And then up here, there's a few little tools that are pretty important when you come in. So if you want to see your recent activity, this is where you can kind of monitor what you've been sharing. You can see what you've liked, things like that. And so if you go in there and you say, oh my gosh, I haven't done anything in 5 days, it might be time to do that. Back on the home screen. This is also an interesting portion, the people that have viewed your profile. So how I mentioned that you'll show up on people, you can see that people are viewing without the upgrade. I don't happen to have the upgrade. You should go get the job seeker upgrade through the veteran job seeker upgrade that you have free access to. You'll be able to see more than that, but as of not right now, I can only see my last 5. This is a really nice area as well to kind of break down some analytics. So you can see over here that my profile is down 50% from the previous week. I've taken more actions this week, and they kind of go hand in hand. So maybe I'll start to see an increase in views. Also, if you want to see how people found you, this is kind of interesting. If you're looking at, people want to know who's looking at the mobile app, who found me through a group. So 7 people found me through a specific group that I'm involved in. Some basically just went out and searched my name. That's what the LinkedIn.com is. Other keywords is how people found me. So that means I only have 2 with my first name and my last name. So that means only 2 people have specifically searched me out. I have been found with other keywords to all of the rest of them. This breaks down the viewers who have looked at your profile. You can see the majority is other companies. If you hover over it too, you'll notice that they pop up. 39 are unknown, but those are a lot of the privacy settings as well. You can start to see I work with a lot of veterans and military people in my role, so a lot of that is coming up, and then obviously Syracuse University and my previous institution is Utica College. You can also start to see where, so if you're trying to see if people are looking at you from your area, this is a great way to monitor that. I'm from Michigan, so it's kind of evenly broken down between New York and Michigan. And you can see the titles. So are you seeing a lot of recruiters look at your titles? Keep in mind a lot of recruiters do keep their profiles private. So when they do view it, I wish I had one on here that was not an actual person to show you, but I don't. It'll say a person from either this company or a recruiter at this company. It's going to be really general, but you can start to at least monitor which areas they're coming from. And then this is another cool tool, how you rank for profile views. So this is you out of your entire network. So I have 643 in my connections, not necessarily my entire network, but I'm number 124. I can see that I'm in the top 20%, but I'm down 5%. So I might want to take some actions, really go and bulk up on my profile, ask for recommendations, endorsements, that type of stuff. Okay, just an overview of that. Back to the home page here. Into the profile, I did say that I would show you where you can change your URL, because I think that is really important for adding to your resumes and to your signatures and things like that. It makes you easy to find. Right here, there's under your name, there's a little settings area. Oops. And if you go over here to your public profile URL, this is where you'll want to edit it and change it. Now, if your name is John Smith, you might not be the first John Smith to try and do this. You might have to add a 1 in there or go with middle initials. Try anything you can, but try to keep it name specific. You know, you want it to be professional. If you have 2 different names, you can try last name first, then first name. Try a bunch of different combinations. This is also where you can customize your profile, but you can control how you appear. See, I don't have anything really hidden. I like to keep everything out there in the open. So make sure you do that first and foremost. And then there's a lot of cool ways to view your profile. So if right now you're viewing it as you can see it up at the top. And this is where you can make changes. You can also view it as, this is how a connection would see it. And then you can also view it as public. So this is how public would see it. So it's basically the same. Like I said, I don't have anything hidden because I like to keep everything open, but that was just an overview for that. Also, I did want to mention this heading. it could default to your current position, so it could say Advisor Veterans Career Transition Program. I've chosen to change it and kind of focus on some of my skills along with my MBTI rating. So think of some specific skills that you want to highlight and really dive in and showcase those there. It just gives you more areas to be searched out in. Okay. Next, I wanted to go under the Connections tab. This is a great way to not only add connections, which is really easy, but to keep in touch. You can see all of the updates across your network. So I can see who has a new job, who changed their picture, who's having a work anniversary, things like that. And this is a great way to say congrats. Again, showcase that on your newsfeed when that happens, kind of staying relevant, and then it keeps you up to date for other people that are saying congrats or things like that, or liking a picture. You can also see your contacts down here. I have a Gmail account attached to it, so it pulls in those as well. So it's not only just my LinkedIn connections, but my Gmail as well. If it depends on what account you connect to your LinkedIn, but that will be able to pull in all of those contacts for you. The Find Alumni tool is one of my other favorites. I spent a lot of time when I was working in employer relations in the alumni area because it would help me find people from Utica College to come back and recruit for us, and I found this extremely helpful. When you click on the Alumni tab, it's going to pull up your alma mater. So mine pulls up Central Michigan University, and it kind of breaks it down by different areas for you. So let's say that since I'm in New York, I wanted to search Syracuse, see what kind of alumni from Central Michigan University are in my area, because having that alumni tool they are a really great connection to have, because everyone, it's basically building a family when you are part of a school or a program, so like VCTP, things like that, to really connect. So if I wanted to see who was in the Syracuse, New York area, and I wanted to try and reach out to them, it would pull them all up for me. So these are all alumni from my alma mater that are close by. So it really kind of just gives you that comfortability to reach out to someone if you wanted to see someone that was close. So don't forget the alumni tool. I'm going to show you the veteran version for that later, and like I said, it's still developing, but it is up and coming and will be a great tool as they continue to add to it. Education, if you are interested in, maybe you haven't gone to school yet, you're interested in applying, this is a good area because it can kind of help you find a school that you're interested in for specific programs, maybe in a specific location. It shows popular universities here. And it also allows you to save that. So if you have a decision board, you can kind of save that. I have Syracuse as an interest here since that's where I work, but you can really, it's another organization tool for you. I'm going to skip over the jobs part and do that part last and move into the interests. This is a great area for the networking aspect that I had mentioned, not only maybe in a job search, but as you continue to develop your career overall, staying connected, staying on top of the current trends, things like that. I'm going to start with Pulse because this is a great way to, I guess, start even seeing what is out there. Once you start to like things, follow things, whether it's a person, a company, or belong to groups, you'll start to have your news, and these are things that are relevant to the things that I belong to on LinkedIn. So this, based on education, professional women, all of the things that I like. If you go to Discover, you can find those areas. It gives you recommendations based on things you already like, things that they find in your profile, again, that data mining. So you want things, if I'm in education, I'm going to want education spattered throughout my profile to try and data mine everything together to get the best options for me in not only the Pulse, but companies and jobs too. So you can start to see, and all you do is just click follow, and then that'll start to become relevant in your newsfeed. You'll stay up on the current trends for that. So if you're in technology, if you're looking to get into operations, these are some areas that you'd want to follow or find people or things to follow for that. Next, I want to go into SlideShare because this is really cool for finding information. So I was playing around in here the other day. I use it a lot in my career development work because it provides you with presentations that might be relevant to either job searching, interviewing, writing resumes, that type of stuff. You can also detail it for specific populations. So when I went in here and did veterans career, a lot of things popped up that will help you. So not only obviously you can find this information on the internet, but it's all kind of located in one place for you. So whether you're looking for a presentation or specific tools, a job seeker handbook, it pulls everything together. People post their presentations here, so potentially, let's say I could post this presentation about LinkedIn to SlideShare for people to also be able to utilize. So it's a great sharing of resources tool. I'm going to go back into LinkedIn here. Okay, next I'm going to go up to companies. This is important. So earlier I mentioned the top 100 companies. This is the link, it brings you to that. It's just giving you the title and where they rank. There's an article with it as well at gijobs.com. But if you're looking at it and you're saying, okay, well, which one of these are tech? Is there any on here that I'm already interested in? Just might be a good starting place for you. Also utilizing other areas of LinkedIn to try and find that. But this will give you your home, which is your news feed for the company. So all of the companies that I follow and their posts. So like I said, this is a good way to stay up on the relevant information. If there's job postings, you'll be able to see that and interact with them. So you can like, you can share, you can comment. Another way just to stay relevant and on top of those recruiters' minds. You can also go into and see the ones that you're specifically following. And then there's also the one, this is also data mining, pulling everything together of what I have done on LinkedIn and what I have displayed on my profile. You can see more and it'll give you suggestions based on what you do and what you're interested in. So this is a great idea to start maybe the job searching process, seeing what maybe your favorite, if and what positions your favorite companies are hiring for, and then moving into a full-on job search after that. You can do it either by company or by title and that stuff. I want to go into groups because this is where we have found, especially in the Veterans Career Transition Program and in a lot of other sharing of services and resources, groups that I belong to, very helpful information, ways to collaborate with those in your field, things like that. I wanted to give you a specific look at the Veteran Mentor Network. This is national, international. People are on here sharing ideas. I had mentioned, or I had found a really good one. I don't know if it's going to work with her name. Oh, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I just searched a name. I was trying to find, I didn't write down the title of her discussion, but she had her name was Jill Johnson, and it was a really good discussion about connecting with veteran resources. But overall, you can just see that this is a good example of, if anyone can take a look at my profile and resume, they're really sharing resources throughout that, especially making a transition out. You can see he's been in there for a while. Temp workers looking for suggestions, more resume stuff, transitioning, why did you leave the military, job searching. I've even seen articles, so here's an article sharing, going back and forth. You can see the number of comments, 13 likes. It's just a really good opportunity to post anything to the group if you're looking for an opportunity, if you want to share a resource, if you're looking for a job, if you want advice about transitioning or resume or career help. I've seen a lot of back and forth in this group that can be very helpful. You can also, see all of the things that are being promoted. These are different articles. These are highlights that they want to share, and then jobs. So people are specifically even posting jobs to this group. So maybe it's also out on the job search inquiry for LinkedIn, but this is a good way to find it in a smaller location. So let's say I work with a lot of people trying to get program manager jobs, so I'm going to click on this one and see what that is all about, and maybe even try and send an email to the job poster. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail with that when we get to the job search section, but that's just an example of what the group can do for the job search. I also want to mention an important aspect of connecting with people in groups. So even though this is a third connection, it's allowing me to connect, and it's allowing me to inbox them. You can message people back and forth in a group versus if you were just to search them out on a general search of their name. And you can also see how you're connected to different people throughout the group. How are they a third connection? Is there a way that you would want to be introduced to them for further collaboration or advice or information? That's just a really good way to utilize that. I wanted to go back to our Veterans Career Transition Group for a second, because this is an example of the ways that students utilize group interaction to share resources, especially in an online program. It's sometimes difficult when you're not meeting face-to-face with your classmates or those in the same cohort as you, or those that have even been through the same program. So our students utilize this a lot to, again, share resources and highlight that they've passed the CISSP, thank you, and it's really validating the program there and allowing other people to see successes. We all love hearing testimonials and success stories, and this is a great way for those to share it across the board. Sharing tools, I know that this person actually even had a study group, so they're sharing opportunities to study even though they're in various locations across the country. It's all through a webex.com, and this is a great place for them to meet up. I know that a few of my students on here have actually utilized that. Also, if people are having struggles, it's great to connect with people that have already been through the program or the certification itself to ask for advice, study tips, that type of thing. Again, that validation that you're following the right path, that it's not just you, that you're not alone in this, and that other people have gone through the same process and had the same experience is really important, I think, to share across the board. Again, this is also where we're posting information from our group about things that are coming up. So we have a new initiative for veteran organizations. You can see our program manager shared, and that people are commenting back and forth about their interest in that. So it's also just staying up to date and relevant for either the group itself or the industry in general. So although this is a very specific group, the Veteran Mentor Network is one that's more general and across the board, so you might be able to find different things that you're looking for. There's going to be specific groups also with your various industries that you're in and other areas that you're interested in. So I follow a lot of career stuff, also my alumni groups, things like that. We have one for all of the programs that we do here at the IVMF. We have Boots to Business, we have VUIs, we have EBV, and they really go back and forth, across being a member of all of those. So this is just a great area to network, and I highlight I recommend getting into as many groups as you can. You are allowed to have up to 50, so make sure that you utilize them. I also recommend going to this group page every once in a while. In preparation for this presentation, I was in mine and noticed that there was a lot of groups on here from previous interests or points in my life that weren't really relevant to what I was doing now. So I got out of some. I really want to utilize and find some more groups of the 50 that I'm allowed that might be more beneficial for what I'm doing now. So that's where I'm at with that. I'm going to go into the job search tab now. This is where it's going to be a snowball effect. This is where you can, over here, save your searches, save the jobs that you're interested in, show the jobs that you've applied to, things like that. I want to highlight some areas on here that are going to be specific to the Job Seeker Premium that you are going to get because it's so helpful in this process. This is telling me how to learn about it. I had our free trial. They give a free trial to everyone, so I do know what it shows, and that's why I'm going to highlight a little bit. I lost that opportunity. They give you a 30-day one, but it was amazing, so keep that in mind. When you come to the Jobs tab, it's basically going to data mine everything that you have in your profile, previous jobs that you've clicked on, anything that's pulling all of your information together, groups that you belong to, companies that you follow, and this is where it's showing you the jobs you might be interested in. You can change your preferences for location, company size, industry, and also do an advanced search. So in here you can see I had a zip code going. I was looking for a specific area. You can do that as well. You can make it a specific industry or even a specific function. This premium little tool will let you search. Let's say you only want jobs posted for 60,000 plus. You can even narrow it down that way. I will note with the salary portion, not every job posts or has that information listed in their job description, so it might not always be helpful to whittle them down. And also, down at the bottom below your suggested jobs, these are discovered jobs in your network. So based on my network and who works where, it's pulling everything together. So I have connections that work at General Motors and Lockheed Martin, and so it's pulling the company information and saying that there's 515 jobs there. Not necessarily helpful unless you know you want to work for a specific company itself, but also just a good way to even start the search, I would say. Now let's click on a job here. The one that I wanted to is gone. Let's look for one. Looking for a specific program manager job. This doesn't pull up any filters as of now. It's just general across all of LinkedIn. So you can see it goes from Texas to Massachusetts, everywhere. You can filter that down by either code or postal code, zip code, specific city location, or even company. Again, you can do it by date posted. When you are utilizing this tool every day, I think that it's important to do this because some of them are placed at more value than others or importance than others, so they'll come up even if they're older. So you can see here, this basically pulls the ones that I clicked 1 day ago that have been posted within 1 day. Just going to click on the top one here just to show you. Nope, I don't want that one. Where is... I want to show you the... Okay, well, really quick, I'll just go through this part in general. This up here, this Apply on Company website tab takes you to an outside source. I'm going to show you the way to apply through LinkedIn as well, but most of them currently are at this area, and that you'll still have to submit a separate application. Companies are continuously adding to this network where you can apply on here, but this is just one way to do that. Over here, the snowball effect that I'm talking about shows you what people also viewed. I feel like this gives you another idea for jobs that you might not have even thought of. So maybe you never thought of being a global airline program manager. Maybe you were only focused on higher education program management. So this is just a good way to kind of see various areas that other people have also looked at and maybe give you a different perspective. Also similar jobs. So these are going to be ones with the same title, but various locations. I know you're coming from Colorado. Try to get there by 4 p.m. That's Okay, so this is what I wanted to show you for the upgrade. Without the upgrade, it's showing you the number of applicants, but with the upgrade, you would also be able to see how you compare. So you'll be able to see in percentage-wise where you're at. So it'll say top 25% of applicants is where you lie for this position, or you are not in the top 50%, stuff like that. Also, it would show you salary information here, and allow you for that to compare that as well. So I think that it's important to see this area when you are doing the job search and how you compare to the competition. The 38 applicants, I also just want to mention that that is not necessarily reflective of the number of actual applicants, because that's only people that are in here and clicking on apply on company website, not those that are going directly to Zodiac Aerospace website and applying. This is all just pulling it through LinkedIn data. So do keep that in mind. If you happen to see one that's 115, it might actually be over 1,000. But this is still a good way to kind of monitor that and see, hey, how many are applying through LinkedIn? So that is another way to, oops, that's the one I was just on. That is another way to kind of snowball the effect over here. You can see what they also viewed. I do want to also mention that they are putting the job poster up here. Not every position does this, but those that do, it's good to maybe you have a free in-mails with your plan that you'll get, and you'll be able to send those. I think you get 3 with the job seeker one. You'll be able to send at least 3 in-mails for free without upgrading your account. I really had I had one that had the apply now, but I cannot find it. Must have taken it down. Anyways, what will happen, we're running out of time, so I want to wrap it up, but there would be an apply now link here instead of apply on company website, and once you click that, it's basically submitting your LinkedIn profile as your application. You will have to fill in a few details for contact and that type of stuff, especially if you don't have it, but it's basically sending an application directly through LinkedIn, going to that company's LinkedIn page. So I think that that's why a lot still don't use it, is because they want to be able to have them all in one location, whereas if you apply on the company website, they are going to be. So maybe once there's some technological advances in syncing those up, that will be more, but I have noticed more and more and more utilizing the apply now button through LinkedIn. So there's a lot more that can go on with job searches. Obviously, if you would have any questions or like anything further from me, I have my contact information on a slide that we can get back to, and otherwise I'll answer any questions.
Okay, I'll have Jim double check. I don't see any questions out on the group chat, but I'll have Jim double check YouTube. I'd like to take a quick minute and thank both Laura and Jenna for a great presentation. You can find both of their contact information as well out on vets.syr.edu. You can find more information on the VCTP program out on vets.syr.edu under the programming tab, as well as the ways that both Jenna and Laura had hit. So real quick, before we close out, because I don't see any questions that came through, Jenna, we'll start with you, then Laura, do you have any kind of parting knowledge that you'd like to give folks before we end the Hangout?
I'll add one thing, Mike, that if anyone has questions about the Veterans Career Transition Program, you can certainly reach out to me, but even if it's something that you might not be interested in specifically, I would encourage you to share it with someone that could be eligible, because both veterans and spouses are eligible, and that's often an area that does not get enough attention. So if there's a spouse that you are connected with in some way that you would like to share the program with, please do. And then, of course, contact us if you have questions.
Thank you very much. Well, on that note, I think that, Jenna, do you want to add anything before we sign off?
No, just thank you for allowing me to do this. And if you have any further questions or anything, always feel free to reach out to me.
Great. Thank you very much. Well, I appreciate you both taking the time to join today's Hangout. It was very informative. And we will go ahead and make sure that this is posted out on our social media for any of you who may want the link to the direct presentation after the fact. But with that being said, thanks again to Jenna and Laura, and we'll close today's Hangout. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.